Hello, I'm Luke. Welcome to another episode of the Vision to Victory podcast, where we discuss practical ways to turn your dreams into reality. Today, I want to use some weighty things to set up what I believe is one of, if not the most important question we can and should ask ourselves. Over the last few years, I'd say really since COVID, much about society has been brought to light. Public trust in government institutions has been eroded. We've seen evil being normalized and even celebrated with things like Charlie Kirk's murder or that viral murder of an innocent girl on a train. And while perhaps not normalized, the horrific, disgusting, and blatantly evil reality of widespread child trafficking and abuse has been made public. And I think for all of us, it can be easy to look at all of this and feel a sense of hopelessness and helplessness, especially when these things are combined with the very real personal struggles that we all face and, just the responsibility of everyday life. So my question for you and the topic for today is this: what's your anchor? When things seem dark and hopeless, what do you lean on to keep you going and to keep you from falling into nihilism and thinking, what's the point? Interestingly, more than ever, people are attending for the first time or returning to church. We're seeing many public figures boldly declaring and discussing their faith in public forums. People are looking for truth, meaning, and answers. I believe that the dichotomy between those two things, between the evil we're seeing and the good that we're looking for and standing for, highlights the reality that there are more things at play than meet the eye. And I've come to believe that much of what we're seeing is a result of spiritual battles, not in some distant or insignificant way, but rather everywhere all the time. Scripture says, for our struggle is not against flesh and blood, but against the rulers, against the authorities, against the powers of this dark world, and against the spiritual forces of evil in the heavenly realms. Now, I want to be clear. Growing up in church, I've heard that verse 1,000 times, and didn't give it too much consideration, frankly. Now, at this stage of life and seeing what we see, in just the world today, I believe that that verse is completely self-evident. So again, my question would be, what's your anchor? In the chaos, what do you lean on to, keep you going, keep you motivated? And I believe that we're seeing people searching for truth and attending church in record numbers because I think that in all of us, there's something that tells us that there's more going on than what we see. There's a reason that in times of crisis, the default response for nearly all people is to pray, regardless of what they professed or not profess, whatever they've said they believe or don't believe. I believe that's because the knowledge of God is hardwired in us. And while we may drown it out with distractions or be misled by subtle or not so subtle lies we're fed in culture, it doesn't change the truth that God isn't just real, but He created you and He created me, and He wants relationship with us, which He made possible through Jesus. For me, my relationship with God is my anchor. I can, and maybe sometime I will, tell some of the countless examples of divine intervention or guidance that has saved and directed my life. And it's worth mentioning, I am definitely a critical person, meaning that, part of my story is that I'm wired to learn and understand. So it's not just experiences for me, which can be subjective, but as someone who values objectivity, I have gone on my own journey to study and substantiate for myself my own faith and that Jesus was in fact a real person and that there's credibility to the claim that he was in fact the son of God. I have found that between the personal experiences of my life and the objective evidence that it's clear. It's again, I would say almost self-evident. God is real and he cares for me and he cares for you too. And in the chaos of life and the world, he gives love, peace, joy, and hope. So, my hope today is no matter where you're at in your faith journey, maybe you have a relationship already with Jesus, with God, the creator of the universe, or maybe you have questions or doubts, maybe you've walked away from faith, maybe you've never considered it, whatever the case, I hope that you choose to lean in and start wherever you're at, whatever that looks like. I don't know if that's talking to someone who maybe could point you in the right direction. It might just be saying a prayer in your own room, wherever you might find yourself. But whatever the case, I hope that you choose to lean in and pursue a relationship with God. As we're entering the Christmas season, perhaps remember that Christmas is the celebration of God sending Christ to us so that we can have and be a light in the darkness. With all that's going on in the world and all of the chaos, the evil, whatever the bad things are, there's so much to be grateful for, and there's so much to um, be hopeful for. And so I hope that this year you'll anchor your hope in the only anchor that really doesn't move, change, doesn't waver. And I believe that that is a relationship with Jesus and God. I hope this was helpful for you. And I hope if you know somebody that needs to hear this, that you share with them. I hope you have a blessed day.